Stangibelisco here from a star nursery, as they call it, a place where new stars are being born, a nebula which condenses into stars, some new young stars shown in points like this. Too young to have planets with life on them yet, supposedly. Just a little note of interest, but the real note of interest here is the ham radio RST system. This is table 8-1 from my book, Ham and Shortwave Radio for the Electronics Hobbyist, a link to which I will provide in the description of this video so you can go to Amazon.com and purchase the whole book if you are so predisposed. A viewer recently requested that I go through the RST system, and this is the traditional version, slightly edited for language by me so that I'm not directly quoting anyone. RST stands for readability, strength, and tone. Well, anything other than a 9 for the tone report and a signal report is a cause for embarrassment, as I've indicated here, because if you have any ripple on your CW note, it's not good. There's no reason to have that these days. The old tone reporting system contained a lot more variety. In my opinion, it was a lot better and more descriptive because it contained defects that still occur from time to time, such as a musically modulated note and things like that. The readability, well, this is something you always want to have a 5 if you can get a 5 for a readability report. In contesting these days and DXing nowadays, everybody gets a 5.99. That's perfectly readable, extremely strong, and perfect tone, whether it is or not, just so they can get that report out of the way and get on with making as many contacts as possible in as little time as possible. But if you're really engaged in a contact where you want an honest signal report, the S meter on your radio will not necessarily tell you what you want to know. You shouldn't pay very much attention to the 1 through 9 strength level indicators on your receiver's S meter, because it varies from receiver to receiver. It varies with the settings of the receiver, and it's generally not coincident with these descriptive values. So these are, in fact, subjective values, not objective. You can't have a meter that will tell you these values. You have to judge them for yourself. And if you want to give an honest signal report to a person, and their signal is decent but not spectacular, tell them so. Give them a 6. Maybe they're 569 or 469, and don't be too embarrassed about giving somebody a 3 for a readability report. If you're having trouble reading their signal, tell them 3, 5. Well, I hope it's a 9, but maybe it's not. Barely readable. You could still have bad conditions like a lot of man-made noise, human-made noise, or static, and have a 289 signal report, for example. But once in a while I get honest signal reports from people, and I appreciate that. I hope not everyone does, though. They want to think that they're the biggest bully on the block, and anything less than that, and they get insulted. Forget about that. That's not what this is about. The RST system for signal reporting is intended to give the other person and intended for you to get a real good idea of how your signal is doing at the other end. Too bad that it's sort of like grade inflation in schools these days. Isn't that too bad? It's almost to a point where now you can sue a teacher for giving somebody a C when they really think they ought to get a B or an A. Maybe someday if you give somebody a 239 signal report, they're going to get sued. Oh, God. Only in the United States of Attorneys is that likely to happen. Stan Gibilisco, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1, Good Vibrations. Hope this came in 599 to you. You can buy the book at the link I will provide in the description of this video, and then you can go to table 8-1 and refer to it every day. Back to the nebula where stars are being born. Much more interesting than the RST system, don't you think? 73, which means best regards in ham radio jargon, and so long for now.